Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here, and I wanted to talk to you with a 1982 movie called The Slayer. It's free on YouTube. It's with Sarah Kendall. She plays Jay. Yeah, one name. Her brother Eric will be in there, and then her husband, boyfriend David, and her brother's wife Brooke. Now they go to this island, um, very secluded, off season, and this pilot Marsh is his name. He's not a talker, but when they arrive at the island, he says there's nobody here, and you would think, okay, this first of all, David is a doctor and Eric is in advertising but a manager, so you think they would have a little bit more money to spend on a real vacation, not going to a secluded fucking island where they have to walk 3 miles to the house with all the baggage. Well, eventually they get there, and outside it looks deplorable as hell, and then inside it looks very nice. So apparently, don't judge a book by its cover. So they go in, and it's Kay. Sorry, Kay. That's her name. So our main woman, Kay, has this weird premonition that she can like foresee the future, and she paints it. When they are going towards the house, she sees this old abandoned theater, and she says she painted it. And then her husband says, no, or boyfriend says, I don't know, I'm not sure if they were married in this one. David, he says, no, it's probably just another house you painted. Okay, let's. So she goes to sleep, and eventually she has these nightmares, and she dreams about this monster, this creepy monster with sharp claws, and you see a moment when she's like hold back from the monster and clawed open, and it's pretty gory. The kills here are gory. You don't have a lot of kills. The kills you have are gory. As a bonus kill, you have there's a fisherman on the other side of the island that came in with a rowboat. I mean, he had to row pretty far to get there. He doesn't live there, and he gets hit with an oar, and you see his brains are completely, his head falling, and his brain matter is coming out. So it's pretty gnarly kill. That's the first kill. And then she dreams about, she's thinking, I dreamt bad, and then they're having a discussion, she and David, and eventually they make up by having sex, and they go to sleep, and David is hearing something in the basement, and this house has a elevator, but it was leaking, and David went to check on it and opened one of the doors, to the elevator. But an elevator like this, that's on the ceiling. So he gets these stairs and goes to check it out. He opens it. There's all rain coming in from the storm, and then something closes it and pushes it against David's neck. Almost like on the other side, somebody pushing it also, and his head is being beheaded very slowly, painfully, blood rushing out, and then you see the body when he's dead. You see the elevator shaft going open and pulling the body up and back to close. Now, that's a weird kill. I mean, elevator shafts, just one door decapitating you, maybe choking you, but Okay. Then the movie, Dave, of course, Eric doesn't believe jack shit. They go to the cellar. She says she dreamt it because she wakes up. First, she wakes up with a head of the head of David. So David is lying next to her. She's kissing him, and there's blood on her mouth, and there's blood coming out of his mouth and out of his eyes. She takes the blanket away. She sees it's only a head. She wakes up again. She believes he's dead. So she's trying to convince Eric and Brooke. And Brooke is almost kind of believing her, and she wants to go away. And Eric is saying, no fucking way. I came here for fishing or fun. I'm not going to do that. And they eventually go to look for David at some point because they think he was a photographer, you know, he was taking a picture of nature. So at some point they think, okay, it's time to look for David. Then you have this really long and tedious, like, Brooke is going the other way of the island, Eric that way, and they're yelling. And meanwhile, Kay is just sitting there like a stupid bitch. She should be looking, but in her mind, she knows he's dead. There's a moment she goes and look with them. So it's a little bit tedious, the middle part of the movie, especially when they're looking for them. It's like constantly, David. I mean, come on, you have a full view of the island, and you see David. You would see somebody, right? Or spawn somebody. So Kate goes to the old theater. She recognizes a lot of things, and there she finds David without his head dangling on a piece of wire. Pretty creepy. And then the shit starts. Okay, so Eric Marsh warned them that if they want to get out of the island, that it's now the time. Yeah, before David was killed, because a storm is coming, and these storms are really extreme here, and eventually he fires a few flares, Eric, but nobody's coming. So he's gonna look for some more flares, and then his fishing wire, his tackle, you know, his rod is still there with hooks on, and then you get this scene where he finds the two bullets, and 2 or 3 hooks are in his chin like Hellraiser, you know, with the hooks, and it's pretty gnarly because it's stretching his skin, and it's basically pulling him towards the water. It's like somebody's on a boat in the water, reeling him in. But that's not the case. It's just he's just pulled in the water by something unseenable. After that, Brooke goes looking for him, and she gets killed by an unseenable person with a pitchfork. You only see the pitchfork moving, and she's like, oh, she tries to get out. She breaks the window. You see her cutting her hands on the window, and there's those 4 pitchfork needles going through her chest, and I gotta say, blood coming out of her mouth. It's a pretty gruesome kills, and pretty practical effect kills. I like that. It's a shame he only got that, because there's a moment when Jay doesn't wanna go to sleep because she knows because they basically put sleeping pills in her drink, and that's the reason why Eric and Brooke are dead. And she finds them the next morning, and she's completely panicking. So she's basically closing everything down, barricading everything, drinking coffee, hurting herself, and she's sleepy with a cigarette and putting it off on her arm, really going through extreme things that she's doing to stay awake. And then you have that scene where someone is knocking on the door, and now what, but she was completely paranoid at that time. I mean, anyone that entered that room, she would have killed with a knife, a gun, or whatever. It's somebody, so she's pulling the refrigerator away, she's pulling his hands on top, and she stabs him in the hand, and you hear a clear sound of whoa, whoa. Then she goes to the stairs, waiting for the guy. And who's the guy? He sees upstairs, and he's like, huh. And she shoots one of the flare bullets into his. Now I'm not sure if a flare bullet is strong enough to penetrate your skin. Probably, because it's like gunpowder, and you've got the fireworks on top of it. And I'm guessing he got a flare bullet in the middle of his body, and it's flaring up, and he starts to fire up. So it was Marsh, the pilot. He came for the flares, and he came to pick them up. Then of course she opens the door because everything is on fire now. Stupid twat. She opens the door, and this thing, like I said, from the beginning with the claws and all this shit, is standing in front of her, and I can see a clear sight. I believe the 4K edition that came out with they brought all these old B splatter slasher movies like Slaughter High and such. You get a cool scene with the Court Jester face and Marty Sizemore, and then this one you get a clear look of the creature. She's taken, but she's woken up back as a child. But there's something in this. When she wakes up, she gets a kitty. Now apparently her brother said at some point when they're in the cabin that she owned a kitty, but the parents found it in the freezer a couple of days later. So it's like everything we saw in this movie is a premonition waiting to happen to her when she gets older. So it's all a premonition. It's not real at the time, but it's gonna be real at the time. And she's gonna have nothing to do, she can't hold it back. It's like a prelude to Nightmare on Elm Street, basically. It's a prelude of the Freddy Krueger character, you know, the dream killer. This one's also the dream killer. She manifested this thing. So I'm thinking it's just a dream that she dreamt the entire ordeal, manifested that creature, and she's now going to live with that creature for the rest of her life until she dies because of the creature on that island. That's what I think. That's what I think that the movie's kind of pointing us towards. Now it could have easily not be put in there, but it's to make it a little bit more like artsy, maybe some let's put in let people think about it. So I'm thinking about it and thinking that she dreamt her demise basically and manifested this creature. Freddy Krueger's dad or uncle, you know, he looked like a creepy uncle. So that being said, The Slayer, I do like it. I give it actually a 6 out of 10. I really like it. I like the acting isn't bad. The kills are really well done. Really creepy also. Not only gory, but creepy in a way that she's seeing that pitchfork going towards her, POV style. Only the pitchfork, like in a video game, you're holding that pitchfork. And you know she can't really get the fuck out of there by breaking a window, but slicing her hands, an extra touch, you know. And then the guy, Eric, he gets the fucking hooks in his face, and the way David dies is also disturbing. That he's the blood's gushing from his neck, and it's like a effect. It's just decapitating him, but really slowly. So, and an extra kill, you know, with the ore. Brains out of his head. I mean, hit the brains out of his head. I mean, yeah. And I like the isolated location. You know, you can't run, you can't go anywhere. It's a small island. It's one house. That's it. That's it. And you have this eerie pilot who's looking at you like this. And he keeps looking at Kay mostly. I mean, it's a really, I mean, all joking aside, it's a really great movie. You gotta have a great fucking time with this one. It's slow, but it's worth your time. There's only just as a con, there's a tedious moment in the middle that they're looking for David, and it takes a hell of a lot of time, and yeah, it takes too much time. And personally, there are a few good days, I would have gone to the airplane side, and but you know, firing flares in daylight doesn't work, of course. But you know, I would have checked if he was still there, because I think the pilot's mission was, because it was only for a weekend, that he would stay there, or maybe come back. But I'm not sure. It looked like he stayed there. That's why they think he's the killer. Yeah. Great movie. So subscribe, like it, comment if you have something to say, maybe something that I didn't see in the movie. It's free on YouTube, by the way. Just put in the Slayer 1982. You get it free on YouTube, complete, uncut. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.